My name is Willona, and as you know, I give advice, tips, and information on narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, emotional abuse, toxic relationships, and a multitude of other things. So today's topic is narcissistic injury. Wonder, have you ever heard of that term before? Narcissistic injury. What does that sound like? What do you think this periscope is about? Narcissistic injury, if you take a wild guess. Somebody's getting injured. Somebody's sick. Somebody cut their finger. Alright. Well, we're going to go ahead and talk about it. I won't be too long with you guys today. I got a lot of things to do. My babies are out there waiting on me, and they are not as patient as I would like them to be, especially on a Friday night. We got things to do. So I won't be too long, but I did want to give you a really good nugget just to chew on, just to keep you informed, keep you with good information so that you can be able to stay in guard and be aware about this personality disorder. And if you're dealing with somebody like this, if someone like this is in your life, you'll be able to recognize the signs and things of that sort. So, narcissistic injury. All right. If you've been watching my videos, you have heard me refer to the narcissistic wrath, right? Oh my God, don't invoke the narcissist because you're going to have to endure their wrath. You heard me talk about that. All right. Sigmund Freud is the one that came up with the term because back in the 1920s, he's came up with the term. It's been referred to as a wound, a scar, a blow, injury, narcissistic injury. All right. So we know with narcissists that their true selves are hidden and suppressed, right? And we know that they've created a false self to build their self-esteem because they're empty. They don't have any self-worth, right? Okay. They look to outside sources for their self-esteem to be built up. That inflated self. And so they think they're special and they think they're unique. All right. Narcissistic injury is when a threat has been made to the false self, to the ego. And anything they regard as a threat to their superiority is considered an injury. All right. And it's like a shot to the heart. It's a blow. They take it as an attack. So with a non-toxic person, someone may say something to hurt them, or they think insults them. They don't think too much about it. They might get angry at first, but they'll eventually get over it, right? Or they might not. They might just blow it off. They might not think about it, okay? You know, they may have made you, if somebody makes you wait for something, put you in that type of situation. With a narcissist, they don't want to be made to wait for anything. They don't want to have been put second to anything. Okay? So, we know that's the difference between toxic people and non-toxic people. Say, for instance, okay, with a non-toxic person or non-toxic relationship, you have a taste for chicken, right? And you told your spouse that you want chicken tonight. You get home and there ain't no chicken. They made steak, right? You really wanted the chicken, but you eventually get over it and you go ahead and eat the steak because you're just appreciative that they cooked and you didn't have to cook, or you didn't have to buy any food, right? Narcissists, they think totally different. They think totally different. They take it as an insult. They take it as an insult, and you should have listened to what they told you, right? Also, with a narcissist, if you make a comment about their appearance, if you tell them, if you if you insult them and say something like, you don't like their hair, or you don't like the shirt they picked out. Of course, that's an insult. Or it doesn't even have to be considered an insult. It could have been just, you're just trying to be truthfully honest with them. And you tell them something like, I don't think that color really looks good on you. Why don't you try something else? Or, I don't really like how that jacket fits you. Let's try something else. You know, you're just trying to be honest and be a friend, but they don't take it as that. They don't internalize it well. They take it as pure criticism. Okay? And they take serious offense to it. It injures them completely. And that's one way of thinking of it. Another way of thinking of it is if you challenge their superiority or point out a lie that they told. Worst case scenario, if you make them responsible, if you hold them responsible or make them accountable for their words or their actions. You know, most people don't mind being corrected or held accountable for their actions because most people want to correct it. Most people want to get it right. With them, they do not want to be held accountable at all. And so it's like, how dare you try to hold me because I'm special and I'm supposed to be exempt, you know. So another way you can cause injury to them is as simple as this. Completely simple as this. You ready? Okay. You don't compliment them. You don't admire them. You don't praise them. I'm serious. I'm serious. You don't tell them how wonderfully amazing and special and unique they are. Did you know that you not telling them something is considered an injury as well? Right? Because remember, they require that attention. They require constant praise. They require constant admiration. You know, they live for it. That's how they survive, from the supply of constant praise. So, in the absence of it, the complete absence of it is like a huge threat. It's a complete huge threat to them. And not receiving the praise is perceived as criticism for them. Right? It can be kind of complicated to think about because we know the narcissist as on the surface it looks like to other people because they have a lot of people fooled. You would never think of it like this about them because they're confident. You see them as confident, you know. You see them as put together, you know, and nothing really bothers them. For the most part, nothing really bothers them. So you don't see it as the person that's close to them or lives with them see it. So when you point out a wrong, or you challenge them, or you don't give them praise, they take it as They take it as a catastrophic event, like a tsunami has hit. You know that time frame when the honeymoon phase have kind of dwindled down. We talked about love bombing, but if the honeymoon phase has kind of dwindled down and you're not giving them as much attention as you used to, this is where a narcissistic injury can occur. Because you're not giving them what they want, and it ignites a fire on the inside of them. And it's not real, you know, it's not a real thing. It's something that they perceive it as real. And you don't even know what's going on, you know, because sometimes they'll show it. Most of the time they don't. They internalize it. And you have no idea what's going on whatsoever. No idea. But in your ignorance and you not knowing what's going on, they're stewing and brewing on the inside. And they're plotting and planning on a way to make you pay for it. And you don't even know what's going on. It sounds so exhausting, doesn't it? It is very exhausting. But you know why they have this injury? You know why they perceive everything as what it's not? I'm going to tell you why. Because to them, their true hidden self is being exposed. It's being revealed. So they think. You know, we always talk about how the false self, they create that false self, the person that they want to be revered, the person that they want to be admired all the time. That's the false self that they created. Their real true identity that's suppressed all the way down, that they try not to think about or don't want to admit exists, that part of them, they think that that's being exposed, and that can't happen. So when you're not giving them the praise, or if you're trying to make them accountable, or if you insult them, they take it as complete rejection. They take it as all-out rejection, and it's life-threatening. It's life-threatening to their whole entire existence. Right? Think of it like this. God forbid, you're being choked. Right? Somebody's got their hands around your neck, and they're stopping the blood flow, and they're cutting off your oxygen. They're trying to kill you. So you in a life or death situation, right? You got to do something, because it's life or death. It's you or it's them, right? So what you might do, you'll do anything. You might gouge their eyes out to try to get them to release that pressure. Or you might kick them in the groin. I mean, anything. You'll do anything to save your own life, right? That's the mode they go into. They go into life survival mode. Because that true self cannot be exposed. They think their life is in danger. It's critical. Super critical for them. And it's not always the case. You know, everybody's different. Every situation is different. So some people might just discard of you, because if they have another source of supply, then they're good. They can just get rid of you. But it doesn't always go like that. Other times they'll go into rage. I mean, and that's another term, narcissistic rage. They'll go into a rage. Because again, what's happening is this. The false self is threatened. The puffed up self is threatened. So all of the misery, all of the shame, all of the humiliation, the insecurities, anything that they're hiding from their entire life is certain. And we know that we talked about it's been suppressed all the way down to the point of they don't even think it exists anymore. So when all that shame and all that guilt and all the insecurities start surging up to the top, they think it's being uncovered. And like I said, we know that can't happen. So if you pay attention, when you notice something like this happens, and you've been in a relationship a long time with this person, so you know this person, or you've been around this person for a long time and you know this person. But if you pay close attention, you'll see a sudden shift. You'll see a sudden shift in their attitude, because it's almost like they go into like a blank state. It's almost like they can't believe that you said that to them, or they can't believe that you didn't adore them. Like, you have the audacity not to acknowledge me as the superior being that I am. It's almost like you'll see the shift. If you've been in this type of relationship, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's like a sudden shift you'll see. Right? And a lot of times you don't know what you said or what you did. You're just like, but you notice the change and you're like, what did I do? What did I say? Right? But shortly after, guess what? A counterattack is coming. A counterattack is on the way. You gonna get it. You might not get it right away. You might get it right away. You might not know you getting it, but you gonna get it. You might start to feel bullied, you know. But they're gonna go into an all-out rage. You gotta be extremely cautious though, because a lot of people have been put in, I mean, these are dangerous situations with people like this. Because these type of people have been known, I say this, but I want to say this really lightly, but still with extreme caution, because these people have been known to kill people. I mean, in most instances, in abusive relationships where it gets physical, this is where the physical violence comes into play. If you're in a physically abusive relationship and they are narcissists, this is where the physical abuse comes into play. This is where they're going to hit you. They're going to push you. They're going to do whatever it is that they do because you've insulted them and you don't realize that you've done it. But you got to be extremely cautious, like I said, because that's when they can resort to physical violence. And it's not always an isolated incident, you know. If they're not getting their way, it's like a lifetime cycle of torment, you know, for both parties, for you and for them. Because they're tormenting you and they're being tormented. They're being tormented from the inside. Therefore, they torment you. And they're going to make you pay. So, just wanted to drop that little nugget out there because that's another instance where you may not know exactly what's going on there. Because I know you've seen it before in an abusive relationship or in a toxic relationship. You'll have those moments where the person will just get quiet. Or they'll seem offended and you don't know what you said. It's usually after a conversation or something and you don't know what you said. You don't know what you did. But you know, you feel like you've offended them in some type of way. But they're not going to tell you. But they're eventually going to make you pay. And it's because they've been injured. They've had an injury. You didn't give them what they wanted. You didn't tell them how grand they were, you know, or you tried to hold them accountable for something that they're not supposed to be held accountable for. Or you call them out on a lie, something like that. That's when the injury comes. And so, again, they feel like they're going to be exposed. They feel like their true self is going to be exposed, and that's a detrimental situation for them. That can't happen. They can't deal. They cannot deal. They cannot deal with that true self. They can't deal. So, that's all I have. Just wanted to give you that information on narcissistic injury. Hope that it helps you. Hope that it's informative. Hope that it can give you a little bit more insight on this personality disorder. And just to help you recognize and get that little light bulb above your head, get that epiphany and say, oh my God, this is what I'm dealing with. I can't believe it. What do I do next? So that's it. I hope you guys have a really good weekend. See you all on maybe tomorrow. I think I may hop on here tomorrow. We'll see. But I'll catch you guys next time. All right. Bye.